Hello, my friend. If you struggle to speak English, then you clicked on the right video. That's because in this video, we will train your brain to get comfortable speaking long sentences, learn tons of vocabulary through synonyms, and improve your listening and reading skills as well. So click like, comment more like this, and watch till the end to support me and my work. All right. Let's jump in. We will be looking at 10 different scenarios today in this video, or situations you might bump into in real life as an English speaker. For each of these scenarios, we're going to take a short sentence and stretch it longer and longer to improve your English. Simply say with me or pause and repeat. In our first scenario, we are mailing a package at the post office. Are you ready? Let's try a slow speed read. I mailed a package at the post office today. One more time. I mailed a package at the post office today. Now, as we go through this video, you will see synonyms down here. These are different ways of saying more or less the same thing. We could also say, I sent a package at the post office today. I shipped a package. We could say, I sent a parcel. I sent a box. So pay attention to the synonyms to learn even more vocabulary. Now let's level up and make it harder. Say with me or pause and repeat. Ready? I mailed a package at the post office today for my friend's birthday. Okay. For my friend's birthday, for their special day, their big day, for their birthday celebration. Now we know why they are at the post office mailing a package. Level 3. Ready? I mailed a package at the post office today for my friend's birthday, and the line was really long. Okay, the line at the post office was long, so there was a huge queue, or a big queue, or a long queue. The line was maybe slow moving. It felt like there was an endless wait. It seemed like it just went on and on and on. Level 4, let's go. I mailed a package at the post office today for my friend's birthday, and the line was really long. Plus, the clerk asked me to fill out extra forms. Okay, so the clerk, the person who was working there behind the counter at the post office, asked them to fill out extra forms. In other words, to complete some extra forms, to write in some extra forms. Maybe the clerk even asked them to sign up for some service on these forms. Okay, level 5, last one for this scenario. Here we go. I mailed a package at the post office today for my friend's birthday, and the line was really long. Plus, the clerk asked me to fill out extra forms before finally stamping it and sending it off. Finally, the clerk, the person working there, stamped it, right? Marked it, sealed it, approved it, and sent it off, or mailed it. Now, because this is the final level, let's read it one more time at a native speed. Ready? I mailed a package at the post office today for my friend's birthday, and the line was really long. Plus, the clerk asked me to fill out extra forms before finally stamping it and sending it off. Awesome job, guys. Let's keep going with our second scenario. Here's another useful real-world scenario checking out at a store. Let's read level 1 at a slow speed together. Ready? I paid for my groceries at the store. Again, I paid for my groceries at the store. Okay, some groceries, right? So milk, eggs, bananas, that sort of thing. I paid for my groceries, so I checked out at the store. I rang up at the store. We can say the cashier rang me up. Or more directly, we can say I purchased my groceries at the store. I bought them. Level 2. Ready? I paid for my groceries at the store after picking up some milk and bread. Okay, so now we know what they were grabbing at the store. What were they getting at the grocery store? What were they buying? Specifically, what were they picking up? Picking up, purchasing, right? They were getting milk and bread. Level 3. I paid for my groceries at the store after picking up some milk and bread, but the cashier had trouble scanning one item. Ooh, okay, so the cashier is trying to beep, 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 scan the items, but they had trouble scanning one of the items. In other words, their machine had a problem reading one of the things the person was trying to buy. The machine couldn't scan it for some reason. In other words, the machine had a glitch, an error, a problem. Or we can say it was glitching out. Level 4, here we go. I paid for my groceries at the store after picking up some milk and bread, but the cashier had trouble scanning one item, so she called for help. The cashier called for help. She asked for assistance. Assistance just means help, right? Maybe she waved someone over. Hey, hello, can you come help me? Maybe she got backup from another cashier on duty, another cashier who was currently working. Final sentence, here we go. I paid for my groceries at the store after picking up some milk and bread, but the cashier had trouble scanning one item. So she called for help, and we finally got everything bagged up. Nice. Everything, all of the items this person wanted to buy finally got bagged up. Packed up, right? Put into bags. Now, wrapped up is a little bit different, right? Like a Christmas present, right? Using some kind of paper to wrap it up. Because this is level 5, let's say it one more time at a native speed. Here we go. I paid for my groceries at the store after picking up some milk and bread, but the cashier had trouble scanning one item, so she called for help, and we finally got everything bagged up. You guys are doing great. You are crushing it. Let's go to scenario 3. Ordering coffee at a cafe. Level 1. Here we go. Slow read. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning. Ordered what? Ordered a coffee, right? So asked for a coffee, got a coffee, bought a coffee, purchased a coffee. They all mean the same thing. Let's say it a few more times before we level up. Ready? I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning. Again, I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning. One more time. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning. Level 2. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning with a chocolate muffin. Okay, so they didn't just get a coffee, they also got a chocolate muffin, like chocolate cocoa, right? A muffin is kind of like a little cake. You guys probably know what a muffin is, a sweet treat, right? Sounds like a good breakfast. Level 3, let's do it. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning with a chocolate muffin, but they were out of my usual drink. Uh-oh, we've got a problem here. They were sold out or out of the usual drink that this person normally gets when they go to this coffee shop, right? So maybe they get a latte. It was sold out this morning. They had no more of it this morning. They ran out of this special drink, right? Level 4. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning with a chocolate muffin, but they were out of my usual drink, so I tried a caramel latte instead. All right, they tried something new, right? They gave the caramel latte a go, gave it a go. Yeah, they tested it out. They sampled it. They tried it. Level 5, last one. Here we go. I ordered a coffee at the cafe this morning with a chocolate muffin, but they were out of my usual drink, so I tried a caramel latte instead, and it turned out to be delicious. Really fantastic expression here. It turned out to be delicious. Yeah, it ended up being delicious. In the end, it was delicious. It proved to be delicious. Sometimes turned into can mean kind of the same thing as turned out. Let me give you an example. At first, our night was going really badly, but in the end, it turned out to be a fun night. Right? We could also say our bad night turned into a fun night. Flying along here, scenario 4 is taking the bus to work. Let's read level 1. Here we go. I took the bus to work today. Again, I took the bus to work today. One more time. I took the bus to work today. Yeah, I took the bus. I rode the bus to work today. I caught the bus. That's an interesting one, right? Yeah, I caught the bus to work today. I hopped on the bus to work today. I like that one. That one's fun. Level 2, ready? I took the bus to work today because my car wouldn't start. Okay. Oh no, the car wouldn't start. Yeah, it was broken down. It was not working. Maybe the battery was dead. Let's read this one again. Ready? I took the bus to work today because my car wouldn't start. Level 3, here we go. I took the bus to work today because my car wouldn't start and it was more crowded than usual. Oh no, they took the bus, which is something they don't normally do. They normally take their car, right? And the bus is crowded. It's packed. It's full of people. Or we can combine these words and say jam-packed. Man, the bus was jam-packed with people this morning. Level 4. I took the bus to work today because my car wouldn't start and it was more crowded than usual, so I had to stand the whole ride. They had to stand the whole ride, right? Stay on their feet the whole time. There was no seat, nowhere to sit down, so they had to stand the entire way, the whole way there. Final level, here we go. I took the bus to work today because my car wouldn't start and it was more crowded than usual, so I had to stand the whole ride while holding onto a wobbly pole. So they're holding this pole, right? It's a wobbly pole. Wobbly, wobbly. It's a shaky pole. It's not stable. It's unstable. Maybe it's a little bit loose. Sounds like an uncomfortable trip, an uncomfortable ride. Next up, let's visit the doctor, level 1. Read with me or pause and repeat. I went to the doctor this afternoon. I went to the doctor. So I visited the doctor. I stopped by the doctor's office, right? I went and saw the doctor. Level 2. I went to the doctor this afternoon for a checkup. A checkup, yeah, a routine visit. Routine, yeah, something you go and do every so often, maybe a few times a year, right? They had a health check. They had an examination to make sure or ensure that they're healthy. Level 3. I went to the doctor this afternoon for a checkup, but I had to wait almost an hour. Yikes, had to wait. They were stuck waiting for almost an hour. They needed to wait almost an hour. They were waiting around, right? They were waiting around, or they waited around for almost an hour, nearly an hour, about an hour. Level 4. I went to the doctor this afternoon for a checkup, but I had to wait almost an hour, so I read a magazine in the lobby. What's a lobby? The waiting room, the reception area, right? The front room. You walk in, you see lots of people waiting around, reading magazines, waiting to see the doctor. This is the lobby. You guys are doing great. You guys are killing it. Here's the final level. Let's do it. I went to the doctor this afternoon for a checkup, but I had to wait almost an hour. So I read a magazine in the lobby until the nurse finally called my name. Finally, they were waiting. Then the nurse called their name, announced their name, called them in. Yeah, called them in. Okay, time to come in. Said their name out loud. Guys, you are officially halfway through today's video. If you've made it this far, take your hand, give yourself a pat on the back, and don't forget to give this video a like and a comment, all right? It helps me out a lot, seriously. Scenario 6, making a phone call to customer service. Sometimes you gotta call customer service to get some help, right? Let's read level 1 together. I called customer service this morning. I called customer service. I phoned customer service. I rang customer service. I dialed customer service. I gave them a ring. Level 2. I called customer service this morning about my internet connection. Okay, why did they call customer service? Well, it was about their internet connection, their network, their service, their signal. Maybe there's some issue connecting to the internet. Level 3. I called customer service this morning about my internet connection, but I was on hold for 20 minutes. No, they're on hold. They're waiting on the line. You know, this person they're talking to at customer service said, I'm going to put you on hold. Please wait patiently. They're hearing music as they wait, right? They're stuck waiting. They're stuck in the queue waiting to talk to this person. 4, let's do it. I called customer service this morning about my internet connection, but I was on hold for 20 minutes listening to the same music on repeat. Yeah, they played some music while they were waiting, right? It was on repeat, the same song over and over, nonstop, again and again. It was playing on a loop, over and over. Level 5, last one, ready? I called customer service this morning about my internet connection, but I was on hold for 20 minutes listening to the same music on repeat until a tired sounding agent finally picked up. They finally picked up, finally answered, finally took the call, finally came on the line. All right, let's say this whole sentence again at a native speed. I called customer service this morning about my internet connection, but I was on hold for 20 minutes listening to the same music on repeat until a tired sounding agent finally picked up. All right, we're about to eat at a restaurant. Level 1. I had dinner at a restaurant last night. Okay, I had dinner. I ate dinner at a restaurant last night. I enjoyed dinner at a restaurant last night. I ordered dinner at a restaurant last night. Or we could say, I went out to eat last night. Yeah, I went to a restaurant last night. Level 2. I had dinner at a restaurant last night with some friends. With who? With some friends, some buddies, some pals. If you're British, you might say with some mates. Level 3 now. I had dinner at a restaurant last night with some friends, but our food took a long time to arrive. The food took a long time. There was a long delay. The food came late. Yeah, the restaurant made them wait a long time to receive their food, to get their food. In other words, there was a long wait before they were served their food. Level 4, I had dinner at a restaurant last night with some friends, but our food took a long time to arrive. So we kept eating bread from the basket. Yeah, there's a basket on the table, a bread basket, right? So they're, just passing the time eating the bread, munching on bread, nibbling small bites, right? Nibbling bread, snacking on the bread rolls or whatever kind of bread is on the table. Last one. Here we go. I had dinner at a restaurant last night with some friends, but our food took a long time to arrive. So we kept eating bread from the basket and joking about ordering more just to survive. So they're making the most of a bad situation, right? Instead of complaining that their food is taking forever, they're joking around. They're saying, hey, we should get more bread just to survive. We need more bread to keep us going, to hold us over, to make sure we don't starve, right? All right, let's say the whole thing again at a native speed. Here we go. I had dinner at a restaurant last night with some friends, but our food took a long time to arrive, so we kept eating bread from the basket and joking about ordering more just to survive. Up next, it's time to board a flight. Are you ready? Level 1. I boarded my flight this morning. Again, I boarded my flight this morning, right? I boarded my flight. I got on my flight, stepped onto the plane, entered the plane this morning. Level 2, I boarded my flight this morning to visit my parents. Oh, okay. This person is going to go visit their parents, right? Visit, see their parents, spend time with their parents, go to enjoy some quality time with their mom and dad. Level 3, I boarded my flight this morning to visit my parents, but there was hardly any space in the overhead bins. Yeah, those spaces overhead on the plane where you can put your backpack. Yeah, there was hardly any space. It was almost full. There was like no room left. It was packed really tight in there. Level 4, I boarded my flight this morning to visit my parents, but there was hardly any space in the overhead bins, so I had to keep my bag under the seat. Okay, they took their bag, put it under the seat, down by their feet, beneath the seat, down below their seat. Final level, keep pushing, guys. I boarded my flight this morning to visit my parents, but there was hardly any space in the overhead bins. So I had to keep my bag under the seat and squeeze my legs in the tiny space left. They had to squeeze their legs, tuck their legs in, scrunch up their legs, or really bend their knees. All of these things are different ways to say they didn't have a lot of space. Okay, level 5. Let's read the whole thing, native speed. Ready? I boarded my flight this morning to visit my parents, but there was hardly any space in the overhead bins. So I had to keep my bag under the seat and squeeze my legs in the tiny space left. Scenario number 9, depositing money at the bank. This could be kind of an intimidating scenario. It could be a little stressful if you are not a native speaker, right? So let's practice. Take a look at level 1 here. Say with me, I deposited money at the bank today. Practice this word. Here's a hard word. Deposited. Again. Deposited. Yeah, I put in money at the bank. I added money to my bank account. Probably not placed, right? Place, unless you place some cash down on the counter at the bank. Level 2, I deposited money at the bank today after getting paid. Woo, they got paid. following their payday. Once they were paid, after their salary came in, after they got their paycheck, they went to the bank and deposited it. Ooh, that's hard to say. Deposited it. Deposited it. Ooh. Level 3, here we go. I deposited money at the bank today after getting paid, but the ATM wasn't working. Okay, so the ATM was broken. Okay, it was out of order. It was not functioning. Or we could say malfunctioning. Yeah, the ATM was malfunctioning. Level 4. I deposited money at the bank today after getting paid, but the ATM wasn't working, so I had to go inside and wait in line. They had to go inside, step into the bank, enter the bank, head in to get their money deposited. Last one, level 5, slow read. Ready? I deposited money at the bank today after getting paid, but the ATM wasn't working, so I had to go inside and wait in line before handing the cash to the teller. Yeah, the teller, the person working there at the bank. Sometimes we say bank teller, right? They handed over the cash. They gave them the money. They passed over the bills. They turned in their cash. Okay, this was level 5, the last one, so you know the drill. You know the drill. You know what to do. Let's read it at a quick speed, native speed. Here we go. I deposited money at the bank today after getting paid, but the ATM wasn't working, so I had to go inside and wait in line before handing the cash to the teller. Here's the final scenario for today. Scenario 10, watching a movie at the cinema. Or in America, we usually say movie theater, right? Level 1, I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend. Okay, I watched a movie, I saw a movie, I checked out a movie, viewed a movie, or sometimes we say caught a movie. Yeah, did you catch that movie last weekend? Oh, yeah, I caught a really great movie last weekend. Level 2, I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend with my cousin. Yeah, with my cousin, my relative, my family member. This word is not used very much, but kin. Kin means family, kind of a literary word. You see it in books more than you hear it in casual conversation. Level 3. I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend with my cousin, but we arrived after the previews had already started. Oh, that's a bummer. The previews, the trailers at the beginning of the movie, the coming attractions, the ads for other movies, that's my favorite part, actually. When I go to the movies, I love seeing the previews, the trailers for other movies, before the movie I went there to see starts. Level 4. I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend with my cousin, but we arrived after the previews had already started, so we had to find our seats in the dark. They were looking around for their seats in the dark. There were no lights. It was pitch black. The light in there was really dim, or dark, hard to see, right? Final level for today's Super Sentences video. Let's do it. Ready? I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend with my cousin, but we arrived after the previews had already started, so we had to find our seats in the dark while trying not to step on anyone's feet. They were trying not to step on anyone's feet. You know, if you're walking along in the dark, you might accidentally stomp on someone's foot. If you stomp, then you come down really hard with your foot. They didn't want to tread on anybody, step on anybody. Bump into is a little different, right? There's a difference between stepping on someone and bumping into them. Maybe you bump into somebody with your body, but you step on them with your foot. Native speed. Last time, let's do it. I watched a movie at the cinema last weekend with my cousin, but we arrived after the previews had already started, so we had to find our seats in the dark while trying not to step on anyone's feet. If you made it all the way through today's video, take your hand, give yourself a pat on the back, my friend, because as your YouTube English teacher, I'm so proud of you. If you're a channel member, thank you so much. You make my work possible. If you're not a member, click join here on YouTube or go to my Patreon to become a channel member today. But why should you become a member? Well, if you do, you get, number one, access to hours and hours of bonus videos. Number two, PDFs for all of my videos, great for reviewing. And of course, you support me as your English teacher, right? I put a lot of content on YouTube for free, so this is your way of giving me a little something back. Last but not least, if you're in the middle of a study session, let's keep going. I'm going to put another one of my videos up on the screen. Go click on it and I'll meet you there. Come on, let's go.